philosophy to Western philosophy are these ideas of the Sunnis, not the Mu'tazilite or the
Other groups.
or the other groups. And some of them wonder when I studied in London School of Economic and Social Sciences, and there was a very famous professor of philosophy called Popper. And he had an idea of which he was very proud. He used to say, it is wrong to say, as some of the Greeks said, that knowledge starts with definitions. Before you talk, you must define your words. And he used to say, this cannot be so. Because if I define my words, I have to define them in other words. And then if you ask me to define each of the, say I used 5 words, each of the 5 words, that will be 25 words. And then each of the 25 words, so
and go on forever.
So I went and told him, I didn't want to embarrass him and tell him in front of people. So I told him that we had a very famous Muslim theologian who said the same thing a long time ago. And Ibn Taymiyyah said, the knowledge does not start with definitions, because to define you have to know. That was his argument. To define,
you'd have to know.
You have to know. So knowledge is before definitions. And I didn't want to embarrass him, but he embarrassed me. He said, I don't know anything about Ibn Taymiyyah. This is your fault. Why don't you write about your people? And so what you said is true.
Yes,
and
is there much lost because of this?
No?
Is there much that is lost because of these ideas not getting exposed to the people out there?
Lost in what sense?
Lost meaning that the ideas of Ibn Taymiyyah, Al-Ghazali and their likes, the fact that they're not being exposed, people are not getting familiar with them.
They are not lost. They are in books. But in fact, even many Muslims don't know much about them, because we are not very much concerned about it. Of course, in the Muslim world, we are concerned mostly about practical. Since we have been colonized, we want to free ourselves from communism, we have dictatorship, we have this. So there isn't much time for pure intellectual matters like that. But if a Western philosopher reads Ibn Taymiyyah or so, he will find himself at home. And I have, again, an experience like this. One professor of philosophy visited us in the University of Khartoum, and he asked me, I gave one of the students something near distinction, but slightly less. He said, why don't you invite him and argue, and discuss this matter with him, and give him these 2 or 3 marks. And please make it in English. The course was in Arabic. And I invited him. This man is now the Minister of the Interior, Zubair Bashir.
Did you give him the marks?
Yes, we started talking. Al-Ghazali, Popper, Ibn Taymiyyah, Kant, and he was very impressive.
The student?
The student was very impressive. And when we finished and he went out, he said, of course you give him this. And another colleague was also in the Department of Philosophy, was British, and he said that the thing that he learned, the most valuable thing that he learned by being in the Sudan and in that department, is that he said that the human mind is the same. We in the West sometimes think, in fact, some people in the West used to think that even logic is something Western.
Interesting.
And a famous Orientalist like Montgomery Watt said something about the Arabs that for them contradictions don't mean any much. In fact, if there are contradictions, this is a sign of richness and so on. And of course, this is totally wrong. So it is. I think to some extent it is our mistake. Now, can we go? We're talking about the cosmological argument.
Yes, we are.
And I said that I presented what I thought was the correct formulation of the argument. But there are wrong formulations. Some of them are very famous. For example, someone says, everything has a cause.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then the atheist, you say, well, if everything has a cause, then God has a cause. Mm-hmm. Because God is something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's right. If you say everything has a cause, God is something, then he must have
a beginning, a cause.
A cause. So that destroys your argument. The correct thing is to say, and every event has a cause, or every temporal thing has a cause. Not everything has a cause, because an eternal thing doesn't have a cause. If something is eternal, this means that it depends for its existence on itself. And that's what is called in Quranic terminology, qayyum. Qayyum, they say, who is self-sufficient. He doesn't need something from outside himself to depend on.
And this is one of the attributes of God.
Yes.
That are mentioned in the Quran.
No. Now, Ibn Taymiyyah said about the cosmological argument, as I said earlier, that it doesn't go far enough. Because the only thing that it proves is that there must be an eternal cause.
It points out, generally speaking,
yeah.
But it does not specify.
Yes, and in fact, what he said was, the same thing was said by some Western philosophers.